It's Seminole Showcase Week in Tallahassee, and I think a lot of excitement about a major step on the way back to football, to the football season with the showcase Saturday afternoon in Doak Campbell Stadium. And I think a great way to start that weekend, kind of a thing that kicks off the weekend, will be the preview event Friday night at the Moon. Mike Norvell will be there. Members of all the major Florida State websites covering Florida State will be there talking. And we hope you'll be there in support of the Battle's End fundraiser. I'm here with Battle's End CEO Ingram Smith to talk about the event, to talk about the state of the Battle's End. Ingram, I know you're a busy man right now. I appreciate you taking the time.
No, I appreciate your flexibility, Curt, and look forward to catching up, and always good to talk with you. Yeah, a lot of things going on. The Friday event's going to be an awful lot of fun. Anytime you try to put on a silent auction, you want to try to have stuff that is, really unique and cool. And, cool is a great term if you're an eighth grader, but, unique and awesome for people to be able to see. And there's some great, stuff of this year and last year's team. And there's some great vintage stuff. I think it's a great blend, and there's a lot of unique opportunities for people to grab a rich piece of Florida State's history, and then to hear from Mike Norvell. I mean, you are going to get like probably a 15 or 20 minute insight directly from the coach as to where he thinks this team is, what it looks like, what has him excited. And, coach is just a dynamic, unique character, super energetic, and great to hear from in general. And so I'm excited on multiple fronts as to the event on Friday.
Yeah, I know a silent auction as well. Some really cool items. I guess. What can you say about some of the items that are going to be up for sale? Might be posted already. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's great stuff. There's old, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older, but I think that like old newspaper clippings are really cool, and there's stuff back from the original 1993 national championship that's been, professionally framed from day one. So the framing is sharp, but also all these articles are, show some age because it's been 30 years, but they've aged gracefully, and it's just some great vintage stuff. There's unique. There's a ball signed from Mike Martin's 1,000th career win. That's amazing. Documented. We have some things, a couple of players from this year's team, Azaria Thomas, some stuff like that. But then some just unique stuff from coaches, and everything from stuff commemorating last year's Clemson play with signatures from Verse, Fisk, Deloach, and I believe Tatum is the fourth one in that picture, all the way back to, really awesome stuff with Peter Warwick, Charlie Ward, et cetera. So it'll have a little bit of vintage and a little bit of the here and now. And it's something that, we'd love for you to come to the event. We'd love for you to be in person with us at the Moon. But, we're doing everything from a technology standpoint to make the live auction, the silent auction available for our online stream watchers as well, which, again, if you can't come to the event, or you're in South Carolina or wherever else in the country, and just weren't able to come to the spring game, we certainly understand that, but do believe that you will be able to watch the whole event via live stream. So wearing all sorts of hats as we approach the spring game this year, Curt. A lot of fun.
That's today's day and age, isn't it? That's just how we have to be today.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, if you're going to be in town, if you don't have your tickets yet, I know you can find ticket information on the Battle's End website. I got the link scrolling along the bottom on all the social media. It's on our site, the Osceola. I know it's on Knowles 247. Brendan Snone's going to be there. I know it's on War Chant. Irish Rafael's going to be there. I think the three of us are going to be talking about the team somewhat too. We'll be talking, I think, the lead into Mike Norvell, which honored to be the lead in there. But no, it'll be cool if you're coming for in town. Definitely spend your Friday night with us. It starts at 5 p.m. I think goes till about 7:30. Kind of goes right into Stetson's at the Moon if you want to do some line dancing. But what else this weekend, if people are coming up, are there any other events wise this weekend that you're doing with the Battle's End?
Sure. Yeah. The Battle's End has stuff basically starting from in about an hour and this afternoon. And then, we'll have some stuff going on at practice, et cetera. But we have the Friday night event, the Moon, that we just talked about. We're going to be putting on what we call Fan Day, which is an opportunity to come and get autographs from the players. We did this last year. It was an incredible experience, exceptionally well attended, to the part that I was like worried that we were going to have a riot. So we sold tickets to it this year just to have a little bit better idea as to what the turnout's going to be and how to try to usher all those people through the Battle's End. We'll have a tailgate immediately following that. All of this is taking place at Bowden's, and then we have an event Saturday night that is a little bit of a smaller event that's being thrown by a company that we've actually partnered to launch a Battle's End vodka line with as well. So that will be officially launching this weekend, and we have a event at the Hotel Indigo, a place that I know a little bit about, on Saturday night after the spring game.
What's the name of the vodka?
It is the Battle's End vodka, brought to you by Social House.
Okay.
Really sharp bottle. I'll text you over a image of it, Curt, that you can share in an article format or something like that at some point in time. But beautiful bottle, and people out of North Carolina that do a really good job with craft vodkas and opportunities to partner with brands like this. So yeah, we're excited. We offered up a tequila line that's only been available via, it's available locally here, but otherwise online. That's done really well, and excited to see what comes from a partnership with a vodka producer as well.
Well, I have you here. We should take some time to talk, I guess, the state of Battle's End, the state of NIL as well. I mean, I know the last few months have been good for the Battle's End. I mean, I know a lot of announcements of new partnerships, of renewed partnerships with Florida State football players. I know we've talked, and you were the Battle's End was very public on social media about kind of trying to make something of a bad situation that was the snub and really rallying support, and that the fan base did that in a really positive way. I guess, what is the state of membership at? And I guess what can you compare that to as like, where are they at now relative to maybe the start of last football season, or even like the ACC championship right before the snub?
Yeah, sure. So, we're very fortunate to be either the largest or second largest collective in the country from a membership perspective. We have, depending on how you like how you classify individual donors and repeating gifts and stuff like that, we have more than 6,000 members, which makes us very fortunate, or 6,000 people that have participated in supporting the Battle's End. We have not seen the great fall off that I was a little bit worried. I mean, at this point, it's April. December 4th was one of the darkest days of my life. But, as we get further away from it, and as people get further away from that pain that sat in all of our stomachs for 3 days, 5 days a week, we haven't seen, I think our renewal rate is north of 98%. Okay. So that surge that we saw, we've been very fortunate. We have continued to enjoy that support, and that's, allowed us to be competitive in the modern era of college athletics. But, we are fortunate to have the support that we do. We were a relatively new entity, to answer your question. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember exactly what our number was going into the LSU game. It might have been somewhere around 500 or something like that, as far as number of members. And, we had modeled what it might mean if you beat LSU, and we had some of these SEC schools that would tell you, oh, we gained 1,000 people in 24 hours. Yeah, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But yeah, we saw we grew by like 138 people in the week after the LSU game. So a nice growth, maybe not quite the massive bounce. And then it was just kind of a consistent growth throughout the season. I don't remember the exact numbers going in the ACC championship game. I think it was maybe 17 or 1,800. And then we basically tripled in a week. So, we were fortunate to enjoy the support that we were. We hate the reason why it came about, but you've got to have a well-supported collective to be competitive in the modern era, and that passion and drive that Florida State fans continue to display. And it's great that we haven't had a whole lot of cancellations, but we need to continue to grow and need to continue to find new members and also evolve. So part of that evolution is doing an event at the Moon that we talked about. Part of it is that earlier this week we fired off are able to offer our first line of corporate partnerships. So, that allows people to associate with us through their business. We had been doing some of this, but this is a much more formal structure. It provides a really impressive set of benefits and rewards available to people as they get further involved in some of the experiential offerings. And it's something that, we'll focus on more once we get through the spring game. But it's just another example of kind of how we've got to continue to grow and got to continue to be creative and trying to make sure that, we do our role in all of this. So
you've been continuing to grow, like you said, and are pushing for further growth in membership. I know there's also been recent growth as well in terms of players. I know announced a few more additions, some freshmen and some transfers, I think, this week who weren't announced in December or January. I guess what number are you up to now in terms of total FSU athletes? And I guess when you, I think the words you often use are like announce the addition of so-and-so to the Battle's End, I guess, what is their obligation? What is expected of them by being a student athlete ambassador for Battle's End?
Sure. So I want to clarify that, some of these guys we might have signed quite a while ago, and you just
sure.
The announcement wasn't, made for a variety of reasons, or if you get into international athletes for NIL is very complicated, and that's its own conversation. So, there's various timing of announcements. I don't assume that if we announce DJU that, he came by and signed a contract 10 minutes earlier or something like that. I'll put it that way. And then there's you have to have deliverables in a contract, and there's set expectations within that contract as far as, what needs to transpire from a marketing perspective. And what I think you may be asking is, there are elements of, everybody needs to put their best foot forward as far as the representation and representing each other. And that's, part of the understanding of working with student athletes as well.
How do the contracts in terms of, or whatever it is, I guess they're signing, what's the timeline for those work? Or do they go season to season? Do they go, is it semester by semester? We know how fluid a lot of the transfer portal has made rosters nowadays.
Yeah. For the vast majority, we sign annual contracts, and it just runs, 365 days from the day the contract's signed. Occasionally it'll be a 11-month or a 13-month or something like that. But, they're annual contracts, and that's how we have historically structured things.
I guess I know I didn't personally hold it against anybody who chose to opt out of the bowl game last year. I think I remember from your Twitter feed, you were in a similar boat of total understanding, especially, in Florida State's case, a truly unique case in the history of college athletics. But I guess, is that something, I know you talk to a lot of people with other collectives. Is there been talks of making it a part of an obligation to participate in a bowl game? Are there extenuating circumstances there? Or do you think that's something that kind of just, it has to be what it is in the state of current college football?
You never in NIL want to get into a situation for pay for play. There are rules that you have to exist within this space, and you've got to be careful that you're not violating those rules. And I just think, bowl game participation has been a topic that's been out there for 5 years or so. I'll put it this way, Curt. I don't think NIL is going to cure that. Now Florida State had a whole different case as to how many people decided to opt out because of the year that they put in, the results that they had. And then, just from speaking to a lot of those guys, participating in the bowl game kind of felt like supporting the system that just cheated them out of a opportunity that no team had ever been cheated of before. So, I was interested to hear what Coach Norvell said on a podcast about this a couple of days ago that aired, where he said that he thought that the participation in the bowl game would have been much higher had they not won the Louisville game. Coach Norvell's obviously a much more definitive source on the subject matter, but I can only say that would absolutely have been what I would suggest as well, just based off feedback that I received at the time. So, last year was a horribly unique circumstance. Part of it was it drove a lot of growth for the Battle's End, and that was nice. But part of it was that I'm just referencing our earlier conversation there, but part of it was that, you had this series of events where all these kids chose to opt out so that they could deal with either existing injuries or whatever. My whole point here is I wouldn't overreact or have too much of a singular focus on a data point that I don't think is really likely to ever repeat itself.
Oh, on that level, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think you want to test how unmotivated a team can be to play a game, have them win all their games, and then get told that a few one-loss teams are getting a chance to play for a title over there.
Yeah.
You talked about Coach Norvell, and obviously he's coming to speak at the event at the Moon on Friday night. I guess what role can he have in fundraising? I know he records videos for y'all for time to time. And I guess what role can the coaching staff as a whole, can they have in managing or allocating contributions they receive from Battle's End members?
I mean, they don't have any role in allocating anything or
Sure.
would be involved in anything like that. I mean, I do think they're allowed to offer support to collectives, assuming that they follow kind of a similar structure that any corporate partner would. But honestly, I'm a horrible source for that question. I don't. That would be better directed towards compliance, to be honest with you. I'm not sure exactly, Curt. I know that it's allowed. We had to go through a process to record with Coach Norvell, and that was one that I kind of had to turn over to the attorneys.
Well, I know also a change of somewhat the recent past, I think kind of in line with that, is NIL collectives and university athletic departments can be a little more or communicative and tied together. I know I think they sent out an email promoting the Seminole Showcase preview event at the Moon. How has that rule change in Florida changed how the Battle's End can operate?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just always a element of this space that's going to be ever evolving, and people are trying to figure out exactly what the relationship with NIL is and how far that, maybe in a series of years that it could go, quote unquote, in-house. I don't know. That will be decided by other people than me in time, but we're fortunate to have, the partners that we have. We're fortunate to be able to work within this space and, be able to enjoy the support of Coach Norvell. And ultimately, there will be more formal ways that entities can show support for the Battle's End, or at least encourage others to show support for the Battle's End. But we're still kind of a work in progress there.
I'm curious, as somebody who works in NIL day to day, I mean, being the CEO of a major collective, like you said, I think the second largest in the country, are there any, you see all the stuff on Twitter and it's all unfounded and it's often coming from who knows what Twitter accounts and who knows where they got intel from. What misconceptions are there about NIL, or, more specifically about the Battle's End? Are there any you feel you need to clarify?
No. Nothing particularly about the Battle's End. I'll just say I think the biggest misconception is that we work with student athletes who are enrolled at Florida State. That's where the relationship begins, and the relationship, doesn't really begin until then. So I always get a kick when people start, talking to me about high school recruiting. That's not really what anybody's focus is in this space. It's about working with existing student athletes and trying to do the best and create as positive a marketing relationship with them as we can.
Jerry Kutz, publisher here as well. Jerry, you have anything to ask Ingram while we got him? Or you want to talk about? I think it looks like, are you at the Moon right now? Are you getting ready for tomorrow night?
Here on the set. We're doing the final shooting of a lot of silent auction items. Taking photos of them, and that silent auction will be live streamed, so fans around the country can actually bid on the silent auction items as well as watch the program. Pretty cool.
It is. We hope you will join us. We'll have a bunch of people there. Ingram will be there, and a lot of people from the Battle's End, a lot of people from the Osceola. other sites as well. Mike Norvell going to be stopping by and talking. We hope you'll take the time, Ingram. I appreciate you very much taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with us.
No, it's going to be great. And I'd also suggest just one other thing, and this is something that is always interesting. I believe Jeff Colhane and Derek Ray will have a conversation as well. And Derek's a really interesting guy to hear from when it comes to just the overall, evolution of roster management and other things. So should be a great evening, really informative and hopefully mildly entertaining for Florida State fans. So appreciate you guys. Let me come on and discuss it, and I have a feeling I'll probably see all y'all at practice here shortly. So
yeah, I'm heading out there as we speak. Last one before Saturday. I'm ready for the real thing. All right. Appreciate it, guys.